Alright there guys, welcome back to the channel. So I thought in this video today I would cover the James Pearce questions and answers that he did over on The Athletic, where it's basically, I mentioned it in a video about some questions that were asked to him. So I thought it'd be interesting to see which ones he picked out, which ones he answered, and let's just go through his answers, shall we? So, first one. After a good start to the window by bringing in Alexis Mac Allister, it looks like Liverpool's efforts to get another midfielder on board are stalling, leading to people questioning the financial backing from the owners. How realistic is it that Liverpool get two or more midfielders and a centre-back during this window? James replied, "The Mac Allister deal was the priority for Liverpool, and there was always going to be a gap between signing him and bringing in anyone else. Let's not forget, the international window doesn't open until July the 1st. It's still early days." Which is true, like it is still June, but when the window first opened, via the journalist, the club insinuated, shall we say, that Klopp wanted all of his deals done by July the 8th, so he could have a full pre-season with them. The Under-21s European Championship has complicated matters, as a number of players on Liverpool's shortlists, Thuram, Kone, Vega and Gravenberch, are currently playing in that tournament. Yes, Newcastle have shown it's possible to do business in that situation with their pursuit of Tonali, but that's not the norm. I'd say it's realistic, not guaranteed, that Liverpool will sign two more midfielders and a centre-back this summer. They need to address the areas of weakness in the squad. Anything less would be disappointing. That's quite a good statement there, I'd say, from Pearce. Like, he's kind of called the club out a little bit there, that they've got work to do, and if they don't do it, it's disappointing. That's something I didn't expect from James Pearce, is that. Klopp said that ideally all business would be done by the start of pre-season training on July the 8th. I've just said that. As the international group report back to Kirby on July the 11th. He also added the caveat that things might drag on. It's worth remembering the Under-21s Euros doesn't finish until July the 8th, with those players then set to have 3 weeks off after their involvement ends. Well, what would that take up to? That would take them up to 29th, 5th of August, depending on which way you look at it. That's when they'd be reporting back. 29th of July or the 5th of August is when them players would be back for training. Next question. With Jude Bellingham going to Real Madrid for less than £90 million, were we wrong to pull out of the race? His wages are no doubt stratospheric high, let's just say that, but it didn't seem to signal the right ambition by effectively admitting defeat in the spring. Firstly, I would have loved to have seen Bellingham join Liverpool this summer. He's a class act, and I think he would have ticked all the boxes. However, I could also see the sense in Liverpool deciding they couldn't justify committing such a large chunk of their transfer kitty to one signing when they clearly needed 3 or 4 faces this summer. Yes, the guaranteed fee is only 90 million, but that will rise to 115 with add-ons. Another important factor is that Liverpool never had any indication from the Bellingham camp that Anfield was his destination of choice. Even if Liverpool had stayed in the race, I still think he would have ended up at Madrid. I disagree 100%. I've got nothing to back this up. This just goes off my gut instinct. I believe that Klopp was told you could have Jude, but nobody else, or very minimal of anybody else, due to the you have to sell to get any more players in, and basically Klopp decided he'd rather go buy other players. That's what I think. I've got nothing to back up, just a gut instinct on what I think happened. Could be wrong, but you never know. I'll skip that one there, just it's not really anything I think you'd find interesting. If you had to choose between Kone and Thuram, which one are you taking? Personally, I'd go for Thuram based on what I've seen. He's 6'4", strong and quick. He would provide an injection of real energy and dynamism into Liverpool's midfield. I love how he bursts past opponents. Kanate recently described Thuram's progression as incredible, and I wouldn't argue with him. Yeah, I'm probably the same on that. I'd like both. When these two first got linked with us, I did say it's probably one or the other, and then I kind of started thinking, oh, maybe it's both, but now I'm kind of inclined back to the way it's just one of them. But yeah, I'd take either or. I'd take Thuram, but I would personally prefer both, plus another one. I'll skip the next one. Do you think we should let someone go from our forward line so we can invest in the midfield and defence? No, I certainly wouldn't consider selling any of them. Salah, Nunez, Gakpo, Jota, Diaz is as good as anything around. Weakening that department would be madness. Liverpool should be able to do what's needed in the transfer market in terms of incomings without offloading any star names. Wow. Again, he's hinting there a little bit, I'd say, in my opinion, that the money's there for Liverpool to get this investment done, guys. I'm not expecting that from Pearce. Not expecting that at all. Do you think the club would be interested in letting Thiago leave if any appropriate offer arrives? Liverpool's position is that they are planning for next season with Thiago on board. The expectation is that he will leave as a free agent when his contract expires next summer. Oh my days. That'd make it 5 players in a season, well, a year basically, that we'd lost on for nothing. By then, he'll be 33. Whether a big money offer from Saudi Arabia or anywhere else in the coming weeks changes that stance, only time will tell. As things stand, there's no indication Thiago is eyeing a new challenge. He underwent hip surgery in May to help ensure he will be fit for pre-season. His quality is undeniable, but a record of just 71 starts for Liverpool in all competitions across 3 seasons underlines the fitness issues that have hampered him. So basically, I'd say there that that's a little bit of a fishhook thing there, I'd say, where he's basically going, they'll keep him, but, if the right offer comes in, yeah, sure, they'll let him go. I think that's from the club, that is. There's 3 questions here that have been put together, and it's around FSG. Let's see how this goes. Why do Liverpool have the second lowest net owner spending in the Premier League over the past 5 years? Why are Liverpool the poorest rich club in the world? We don't spend money in the Champions League and we don't spend it outside it. Why is it always next summer? How is it we have the 3rd biggest turnover yet we don't seem to be able to compete with Europe's best for players? Now, what's what James puts? This is an emotive subject. In terms of net owner spending, I think you're referring to the recent article in The Athletic. It's no secret that FSG don't put money into Liverpool, but neither do they take cash out. The fact Liverpool's net owner funding over the past 5 years stands at a negative 37 million is down to the money that has been repaid to the owners for the low interest loan they took out to finance the new £110 million main stand in 2016. There you have it, guys. We are paying FSG back for the loan they took out for the stand. My frustration with the debate over the ownership is that there seems to be so little middle ground, especially on social media. The idea that you're either FSG in or an FSG apologist is ridiculous. It's possible to believe that the owners have done a lot of good things and made some mistakes along the way, while questioning whether their self-sustaining business model for Liverpool can really bring more glory given the financial muscle of the rivals. Yeah, I agree with that as well. I can say that FSG have done some good and some bad, but at the same time, they've done the good which is good for the club, but it also benefits them because they'll just get more money when they sell the club. Simple as that. There's no mystery surrounding where the money goes. Liverpool played 63 games in 21-22, generated club record revenues of just over £500 million, but still only made a pre-taxed profit of 7.5 million. The wage bill rocketed to 366 million, an increase of nearly 17% on the previous 12 months. It's not that Liverpool don't spend, it's that their rivals have deeper pockets or are willing to take on a much greater levels of debt. Look at 21-22, the signing of Konate was effectively covered by summer sales, but then they spent 50 million on Luis Diaz in the January window. Last season, if you include potential add-ons for incomings and outgoings and the January signing of Cody Gakpo, the next spend was 75 million. I understand the argument that FSG should put in their own cash given the fact the value of their asset has rocketed since that £300 million takeover in 2010, but they've consistently said throughout their tenure that Liverpool has to live within its means. The time to judge whether FSG has backed Klopp sufficiently this summer is in August, not now. Now, I agree with that last sentiment there. We can't judge them now. We can get annoyed now, but we can't judge them now. However, you've just basically said as well, James, that we're paying them back for the stand that they did in the expansion they did. And yeah, I just don't get why they didn't just give us that money. You know, FSG, yeah. I won't cover that one because I don't think it's true. Or that one there. The next one's basically who would be the backup for Salah if he got a serious injury, and he goes on about Ben Doak, Jota and Harvey Elliott. Ryan Gravenberch, here we go. I'd like to know the story behind the links to Ryan Gravenberch. He moved to Bayern last summer from Ajax cheaply. He then barely played for Bayern, so it would appear he has not shown anything to make us more interested in. Why did we not pursue Gravenberch last year? Liverpool were interested in Gravenberch last summer, but Bayern moved fast to secure his signature for around 21 million at the start of the window. The Netherlands international thought that would be best for his development, but he also found his opportunities limited in Bavaria. Gravenberch has made no secret of the fact he doesn't want to experience another season like that, and he is open to the idea of moving on again this summer. Liverpool have held productive talks with the players' camp, but the problem is that Bayern's stance so far is that he isn't for sale. I'm not surprised Liverpool want him. He was one of the most coveted talents in Europe when he broke through at Ajax, and he's still only 21. I think if they paid 21 million for him, you would think 25-30 gets the deal done, wouldn't you? I think Liverpool could get him if they want him. I don't think he's a main priority right now, so let's see what happens there. But yeah, I won't be surprised if Liverpool end up signing him. It just all depends on Bayern. It's all well and good to hear about players we are targeting, but what about the players we have to sell to get some money in? Matip, Phillips and Williams won't go for big fees, but why aren't we hearing any rumblings about them? This is unlikely to be a summer where Liverpool's transfer kit is bolstered significantly by money from sales. Matip is nearly 32 and down to the final year of his contract. So far there's no indication he's keen on a move this summer. I'm sure we'll see interest in fringe players like Phillips, Williams and Sepp van den Berg during pre-season as clubs look to fill gaps in their squad. Kelleher is the most valuable saleable asset, worth about 20 million plus, but again, there's been no offers so far for the goalkeeper, who would jump at the chance to become a number one at the top level. I think we should sell all them players there. Perhaps not Kelleher, but all them players should go. Any interest in buying a right back to allow Trent to play in the middle instead of the hybrid position he's playing now? As things stand, I'm not aware of Liverpool pursuing a new right back. Klopp is keen to look at 19-year-old Conor Bradley in pre-season after his excellent campaign at Bolton. Gomez can also provide cover there. However, if Liverpool don't sign a right back, that suggests we'll continue to see Trent operating in that hybrid role rather than switching to the midfield permanently. I think that Liverpool don't play 4-3-3 anymore. We play 3-2-5 now, which is I've done a video about that a few months back now, and I just think this is something that people have got to get their heads around. This is what we're doing now. We're not doing 4-3-3. Trent is in a double pivot midfield with Fabinho, with 2 8s in front of them, with the 3 attackers, and we've got 3 centre backs, in Konate, Van Dijk, and Robertson at the moment. And that's how we line up. Do you think we need reinforcements at centre back this summer? Van Dijk in sharp decline, Gomez below the level required to start, Matip only having 1 year left, and Konate being injury prone. Surely we must sign a defender. We slept-walked into a current midfield crisis, and the same is happening in defence. Yes, I think signing another centre-back is vital, especially if Klopp is going to persevere with a system that asks so much of the right-sided centre-back in terms of covering the space vacated by Trent. Konate did that job very well during the run-in, but as you rightly point out, he's had his fitness troubles. I wouldn't say Van Dijk is in sharp decline. He wasn't at his best for the most of last season, but he was also regularly left exposed by the team's glaring weakness in midfield. I suspect that Van Dijk is going to come back strong next season. As for Gomez, it's hard to build with him when you don't get regular minutes. He's homegrown, still relatively low, and can cover 2 positions, so I wouldn't be moving him on this summer. Finding Matip's successor is the key signing for me. Signing a centre-back and 2 more midfielders, Liverpool should be well equipped for 23-24. Now, let's do his part 2, which covers Klopp's future, Schmatke's role, a Salah deal, and academy prospects if it's worth talking about. Can you shed some light on Schmatke's role this summer? As the club's new sporting director, he's responsible for leading negotiations when it comes to incomings and outgoings. Since his official start date on June the 1st, he's been working closely with Head of Recruitment Dave Fowles, Chief Scout Barry Hunter, as well as Jurgen Klopp and FSG President Mike Gordon. The handover from Julian Ward to Schmadtke was completed following the signing of Alexis McAllister. Much of the groundwork has already been done with shortlists drawn up. Klopp sets the priorities in terms of who to pursue and then sets it down to Schmadtke to try to get the deals done at a price that Gordon is happy with, which will probably be next to nothing. The role of the sporting director requires long-term commitment and strategic planning. It doesn't lend itself to a short-term deal. That leaves me thinking it's a failure by the club not making a long-term appointment. Can you provide some insight on the club's thinking? Schmadtke's contract effectively covers the summer window, and then if all parties are happy with the way things are going, it can be extended. I describe this as a pragmatic move. Clearly the ideal scenario would have been to appoint a long-term successor. However, Liverpool weren't able to recruit the kind of candidate they were initially looking for after Ward handed in his notice. It's a small pool at the highest level, and the best operators are already in top jobs. As a result, Liverpool decided to seek a short-term solution. I'd say makes more sense than giving a long contract to someone you aren't completely sure about. It buys them more time to consider their options. Klopp's agent recommended Schmadtke to the owners. Talks went well. The feeling was that his connections and personality would complement what they have in senior recruitment positions. I believe Schmadtke's appointment, the stadium expansion, all ending around the same time, leads me to believe that the club could potentially be sold mid-season. I don't have anything to back that up. It's just a feeling I've got. This whole thing about not going for anybody else is balls to me, because we had people, we spoke to people, they turned the job down and have taken on roles at lesser clubs than Liverpool because they've been told they've got a long-term commitment. I don't think FSG could commit long-term to these guys, and this is why they turned it down. That's why I believe they've gone for Schmadtke, because FSG don't know where the club's going to be within the next 6 months, shall we say. Which young midfielder will have the biggest impact this season? Elliott, Jones or Bajcetic? That's a tough one to answer at this stage, given we don't know yet exactly who they will be competing with for a place in Klopp's engine room. All three could be proud of what they achieved last season. Elliott played 46 times in all competitions and is only 20. He's got a great ethic, and tactically he has certainly evolved. He knows he needs to add more goals and assists to his game. Jones finished the season brilliantly after overcoming his fitness issues and repaid the faith shown in him by Klopp. It was a breakthrough year for Bajcetic, who will be on the comeback trail in pre-season after a thigh problem. With McAllister on board and at least one or possibly two more new midfielders to follow, these young players will have to keep raising the bar in order to secure regular game time. If Klopp keeps the same system, then out of the three, I would say Jones is probably best placed to achieve that. Something I'd probably agree with. I think we'll probably see Bajcetic as backup to Fabinho and potentially the other six if we do get one in. Elliott, I think, is going to come in and play either as backup to Salah or play in that position that Henderson was taking up. But yeah, I agree with that. I think Jones had a really good end to the season. And for those of you that have been with the channel a long time will know that I didn't really rate Jones, but even though he had a good end to the season, it's still not long enough for me to suggest that he's made it yet. He's got to start the season in a good frame of form. He's got to keep going all next season for me to fully change my mind around the fact that he's up for the Liverpool challenge. Is Klopp happy with the current ownership situation, and can you see him staying beyond his current contract? Klopp has a close relationship with FSG President Mike Gordon, who is hands-on once again in the running of the club after taking some time off in the first half of last season. The manager admitted towards the end of last summer window that there are times when he would like to take more risks in the transfer market, but he has always accepted having to operate within the perimeters of the club's self-sustaining business model. He's never had more money to spend than Liverpool's rivals, but that didn't stop him winning the biggest prizes. He firmly believes he can scale those heights again. But he shouldn't have to. He's done all this off his own back. He should get some type of reward. Do you not agree, guys? Do you not agree that Klopp should get, like, yeah, well done, flatmate, here's an extra 50 million or whatever. We'll go get that one player for you this season to make your job easier because you've done so well for us. We'll make your job easy next season. Oh, my watch is going off now. Will make your job easier next season. It's just something I think anyway. In terms of Klopp potentially staying beyond 26, I think it's unlikely. He had previously been adamant that he would leave in 24 and take a sabbatical, so it would be a welcome surprise for the owners. It was a welcome surprise, for the owners when he penned that 2-year deal. By 26, he'll be 59, and he will have been in the job for over a decade. A lot can change in 3 years, but I expect him to take a break at the end of his current deal, which is not amazing news. I think that Klopp's tenure at Liverpool is the time frame where FSG will sell the club. I think with Klopp in charge, it's just it looks a bit more appealing, doesn't it? Rather than you losing probably one of the greatest managers in the club's history, and then you have to go get someone new, start again. I don't know. I think with Klopp in charge, it just seems a bit more valuable to me. Is there anything else I should touch on here? Any news on contract renewals? I'm thinking of Van Dijk and Salah in particular. Both Van Dijk and Salah have 2 years left, so there's no rush on that front, especially given their age. Thiago and Joel Matip are down to their final year, but there's no sign of extensions being offered. Unless either of them pushes for a move this summer, I'd expect them to leave as free agents in 24. Of those out of contract in 25, Trent Alexander-Arnold will be the priority in terms of agreeing a fresh deal. I'd expect that to be addressed in the coming months. I haven't thought about this, but guys, 2 years for Van Dijk and Salah. You've got to think then that they'll be in their last year, won't they, come this time next year. So we're going to be in the same situation again that we was in last summer with Salah. You know what? I've not even thought about it, but depending on how things go this season, Van Dijk and Salah could both be saying goodbye next year. Could be kissing them two goodbye next year. But I don't think we'll lose them two for naught. Though you won't put it past FSG, would you? Oh, I hope we get new owners by then and we can give these two some new contracts. I'd hate them both to go at the same time. Is there anything else? What else? There's something here about the sale of the club. What is the... Oh no, sorry, that's the right one. What is blocking the sale of the club? Is there any update on FSG bringing in a new minority owner? The Athletic report revealed last November that FSG were open to offers for Liverpool, using US banks Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley sounding out interest. Chairman Tom Werner confirmed at the time that sanctioning a full sale was a possibility. However, they didn't get an attractive enough offer, and I wrote in mid-January that FSG's focus had very much shifted to selling a minority stake. There have been discussions with a number of interested parties in the months since, but nothing has been agreed so far. It's an ongoing process. I think the club's up for sale still. Schmatke, the expansion, all ending at the same time. Yeah, I just think that they are, guys. I don't know who to. I don't really care who to, as long as it's people that have got footballing interests at heart, the football fans. I don't care if it's Americans again. If they're genuine football fans, it could be anybody. I don't care. Because then that just means they'll put the club first. And they might actually pump some money into it. You got to think, if the club's been running as it is now, under these, with no input from the owners, even if we get some type of owner that's got, like, don't have to be half as rich as the Man City ones or whatever. As long as they've got like a bit of money and they're willing to put it in, that could be good for Liverpool. It could. And I think that's, guys, where I'm going to end it, because I don't think any of the questions are really pressing, really. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts down below on all this. James Pearce, for me, surprised me here with some of the answers that he gave. I wasn't expecting half of them, to be fair. Some of them I did expect, but some of them I didn't. Let me know your thoughts on all this down below, guys. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a like. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And I'll catch you in the next one.